Welcome to this edition of Wednesday Web Chat. This is Carl Lewis, your host, and today we're going to be taking a look at pervasive analytics and creating a simple little KPI of our own, rather than using one of the many out-of-the-box KPIs that are delivered with the SAP Business One solution powered by HANA. So let's jump over into our SAP Business One system now and see if I can help show you how to create a KPI. So basically, many of the things on my screen here today. Now, in order to really take advantage of the KPIs, you have to use the Fiori interface for SAP HANA, right? And so that's here. And if I can move this out of the way a little bit for myself, and I'll scroll down here a little bit so that you can see I've got some others. So here's I've kind of pre-created these KPIs that I want to talk about today, and give you an example of how these were created. This is a count of sales orders without deposits, and here's a count of sales orders with deposits, and here's the total number of sales orders, right? So I created all three of those. We're going to take a look at how I did that, and so that you can get a good idea. It's not hard to create these, and you can come up with various ideas about KPIs, right? Key performance indicators that you want to track in your own company and watch. So to do it, we go to Tools, and then to Pervasive Analytics. Now we've in previous sessions we sort of did how you navigate this, how you pick things, put them on the screen, rearrange them, for instance, and stuff like that. But here we see this Pervasive Analytics Designer screen right now. So we have KPIs, dashboards, and advanced dashboards. Now, over the next couple of Wednesday web chats, we're going to get into dashboards, and then a couple weeks later, we'll look at advanced dashboards. But today, we're going to look at KPIs. So normally, what you would do is to create a new one, you would click on the New KPI button, and this screen would come up. So we could go through completely manually doing that, but I kind of want to use those ones that I created earlier just for shortcut purposes. And so we can bring them up here. And you can see there's a bunch already delivered in the system, and then you can create your own, which is what we really want to learn how to do. So here's those three. They're right in here: sales order, yes deposits; sales order, yes and no deposits; and sales order with no deposits. Right. So I'm going to click on this one and bring it up in the KPI designer and show you briefly how we did it. Now the first thing you'll want to do is give it a name, right? So when the screen comes up, you want to give it a name, and so we can change it slightly. And just call it sales orders with deposits. I can type something longer here just as a record of the description for myself too if I want to. And this says sales orders linked to a deposit, right? Is what that is. Now, over here, there are pre-existing queries in the system. So what you'll see is any user-defined query in the system will show up here, right? And there's a whole bunch of them that are available, and I can add more to them. Of course, any query that we put in the system will be available to create a KPI from. And you'll also have things that are delivered just in HANA, all of the calculation views that are available in HANA out of the box, right? So under administration, of course, right, or purchasing, I have several different things in this area of the calculation views. All of those are available also. When I take a look at any of them, so if I take this sales order without deposit query that's in the system and I click on it, I see all the fields that are available to me in that query. Now I could, just to show you, I could go find it under queries and the query manager and under system, and somewhere in this collection there'll be one called sales orders without deposits, right? So in that sense, there's so many. It's and they're not in alphabetical order, of course, so difficult to find. There we go. So sales order linked to deposit. That's the one that we're actually going to want to use. And so you can see there's only a couple sales orders that have deposits linked to them in the system. So we should expect to find a couple of them when we create this KPI from this query. Right? We'll close the query screen, and this is the one without. We want to use the ones with deposits. So here's sales order, link to deposit. Click on that, and you can see I have more fields in this particular one because I want to look at the down payment and things of that nature. Um, so the KPI value, so you simply take these fields. If I unclick this count one, you'll see how easy it is to say, okay, what I really want to create the KPI around is the count. So I'm going to drag the count in here. And if I unclick this one, you can see that I can go get the document date. Now this one, it has to be a measure, right? A count, a number, something like that. And this has to be, it says a date dimension right here. So I can take the document date and drag it in there. And when I get that, I get a choice. Some KPIs are meant to be looking at a year, a month, a quarter. In our case, I think it makes more sense to look at the month, right? So it'll look at the month that's available here. And so we're looking at the document date, and we're looking at the month that's here. So it's looking at the current month. If I change it, you'll notice if I change it to a year, it in real time actually starts to calculate for me in the HANA system right away. It's very quick to be able to do that. And then I can set the unit of measure. If I was looking at currency, for instance, if I wanted to create a KPI around the amount paid, the down payment amount, the total amount of the order, if I drug that field into this set KPI value, then I would want to designate that it's currency, because then a currency symbol would show up over here. The fact that I put the year in this box, that's what makes this 2018 show up right here. If I change it to this month, then notice I get May of 2018 will show up in my KPI box, right? So lots of different ways that we can adjust that. So I'll bring it back to the month, right? Just how we had it. And I don't need any kind of unit of measure because it's just a count, so I just want the number there. Now down below on this screen, I can set goals so that when I want to review how far along am I with something, if I want goals, then I can compare it to this goal. So I say my goal is, well, I'd like this to be greater than 100, and the value is 100. And there also the trend that I want to track. So it kind of keeps track of it on a month over month basis or a month over same month basis, right? If I change this to a year, it's likely that my advanced trend analysis will give me different choices as well. So keep those things in mind as you're doing one of these also, right? And I'm not really sure about what some of these are, and I can insert a minus sign if I want to in front of the number. These I haven't investigated very much yet, and haven't had reason to. So that's the first tab. Now the second tab would allow me to create filters or parameters, right? Those are the filter isn't too bad. So if I put in here, for instance, like a customer name, if I wanted to do this, then I can pick, which customer I want to include or exclude, and I can, click here and add them to my active filter if I want to. If I don't add any, then they won't show up. So you can add filters and parameters, and I'm going to show you an example of a composite KPI a little later today, so that we'll see exactly how you can use this function also. It's where you combine two different KPIs together to create a new one, basically. Right? So we have that value set. Now, all I have to do to save it, right, is click this button, right, to save it. And then I go back to the home button over here, and I'm back to my list again. So now we'll take a look at the other one and review how a couple of those are set up. So we were just there with sales orders with deposits, and here's one sales order no deposits. We're going to open that one, and we'll rename this one also. Sales orders without deposits would be its new name, right? And you can see that it's pretty much done the same. We're going to switch this to this month, just like we did our other ones, so they're kind of stay together. And they still have all of the same evaluations. There are no filters or parameters. and we're going to update that one, right? It's identical to the other one, except the query behind it is different, right? Because it's using this query, one without, sales orders without, instead of sales orders with deposits. Right? So it's a little different because I don't have deposit information in here because there aren't any for that one. So there they are. It's been filtered out in the query already in the system. Um, and we'll save that one again just to put it out there with its new name. Go back to the home screen again, and now I want to show you an example of the composite KPI. Sales orders yes and no, right? So we'll click on that one and notice there's nothing on this screen, right, that's here at all. And here we could call it sales orders with and without deposits, right? Let's give that one a new name as well. But there's something different that I've done here, and there's nothing in this screen, but here in the composite KPI, I'm using two. I've brought these, you'll see them all in the list. These are all the KPIs. So there's sales orders without deposits and sales orders with deposits. And you just drag them over, right? I'll do it just so we can see how it's done. Drag them over, and you'll notice that the system assigns them a variable right here, K02, right? They can't both be the same thing, so we're going to pull them both out again so it gets a better start. So here's sales orders without deposits. There we go, K01, and sales orders with deposits. Here we are. It assigns the variable to each one of them, and then down here, the expression is going to equal K01, so that KPI, whatever its answer is, plus the answer in KPI K02. And it gives me a total of 3. Remember, we had 2 and 1 in our others, so it adds them up to give me 3 in this KPI. And we'll save that one. And notice I get the green bar of success down at the bottom, right? It says KPI saved successfully. And back to the home box. So I've created those 3 KPIs. They're very simple, nothing complex, but you can get very, very detailed into queries and things you create them from, and have much more expressive KPIs than the ones we're creating here today. And then I'm going to close Pervasive Analytics and see that I've placed those on my screen. So here they are. This is sales order without deposits. There are 2, and for the month of May. And sales orders with deposits, there are 1 right in the system for the month of May. And sales orders with and without deposits, there's a total of 3. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So that gives you a real quick little simple illustration of how you can use KPIs and how to create them simply with the Pervasive Analytics Designer. And we didn't do anything complex at all, but you can probably get an idea from that of many things that you could do. And if you remember, to get them on the screen here, right, if we want to modify the screen and move them, I simply use the pencil right up here, and it puts it in edit mode. And if I want to add things to my screen, plus sign, and then I get the entire collection, right, of all of the KPIs, of all of the analytics, the charts and graphs, and things that are delivered in the system. And we find them here. You can see that the ones we create are added to this screen automatically, so that I end up picking those. Here they are: sales orders with deposits, sales orders without deposits, and sales orders with and without deposits. They're here for me to pick and put them on my screen. Now when I do that, right, I've selected them all. When I go back with the back arrow, then I see my screen. And if I want to move them, right, to another location, I can simply grab them and move them, put them in a different order if I want to, anywhere on the screen. And when I'm satisfied with the way my screen is placed and created, and when I have it all done, then I click the checkbox up here to say OK, and it puts me back into my regular mode so that I'm really using my screen at that point in time. So that's just a brief introduction. It's really important that you grab hold of that document, how to work with pervasive analytics, so that you can read more in depth about how to do it. But this is the brief illustration about how to use the tool and create some simple KPIs that can be very powerful in your business. So thank you for joining us today for Wednesday Web Chat. And I look forward to seeing you next week, or 2 weeks from now, I should say. And we're going to go back to pervasive analytics, and we're going to do the same kind of simple illustration, but we're going to look at the second element, which is dashboards. How do I create some dashboards and put them where I want to? Right? So that's what will be the next time we get together for Wednesday Web Chat. Till then, have a great day.